Hi, I'm Dr. Manimala Selvinaikar, histopathologist and statistician. This is another evidence-based religion video. In here, we discuss the nature of our relationship with God. Now, let's look at a case report first. We are discussing Helen Keller, who was born in 1880 in the US. At the age of 19 months, she had an illness which left her deaf, mute, and blind, which means she cannot communicate with the external world, and the external world cannot communicate with her. So nobody had the chance to teach her about God or religion. So at the age of 7, her parents got her a teacher by the name of Miss Anne Sullivan. And later on, when she did learn to communicate, she made this remark. She said that she has always known about God, felt the presence of God, but she didn't know God had a name. All right. So this, what shall I say, highlights to us that our natural state, okay, you leave people alone. You don't teach them about religion. You don't teach them about God. Humans can sense God within themselves. Now, this is exactly what Hinduism has been teaching us for the past few thousand years, right? That God is everywhere, God is within us. In the Rig Veda, we have Prajanam Brahma. In the Yajur Veda, we have got Aham Brahmasmi. In the Sama Veda, we have got Tattvam Asi. And in the Atharva Veda, we have got I am Atma Brahma, right? So these things have been known to Hindus for a very long time. Now, if you look at the Hindu worldview or the dharmic worldview of our relationship with God, you can see that the relationship between man and God is one to one. It's a very personal relationship. Nothing and no one comes in between your relationship with God. God talks to you directly, you talk to God directly, right? Now, the other entities like the scriptures, the guru, and the temple, they are there, but they don't intrude into your relationship with God, right? Now, we have scriptures. These were created by all the Brahma rishis thousands of years ago, some of them. And they were basically what was revealed to the rishis when they do deep meditation. And this was left behind by the rishis for us. But we are not forced to follow them. We start looking into our scriptures when it is our karmic time to look into it, right? So nobody is forcing us to do it at any particular time. And the other thing about Hinduism is we don't have a concept of God's law, meaning we do not have hard and fast laws. Of course, we have some laws which we will not change, but in a specific sense, we do not call anything as God's law. What we have is a living constitution, what we are known as our Dharma Sastras, like Manusmriti and that. It does change a little with time. All right. For example, now that we have things like in vitro fertilization, or what shall I say, genetic modeling of babies and things like that for treatment, then uh, is this permitted? Can you actually play around with the human's DNA and things like that? So when you come up with surrogacy and those kind of situations, so when you have these novel scientific situations, right? The way we deal with it is we have our gurus and rishis, present day gurus and rishis, who look at the situation from the aspect of our scriptures and see whether there's any real objection to it or not. If it's not, there's no real objection, it's fine. Like, science always moves forward. And the same thing with our gurus as well. They don't force anything on us. We find our guru, the guru finds us, and even the temple also, we are not forced to do anything with by the temple. We're not forced to give money, nothing. Everything is very voluntary, right? So this is the Hindu dharmic model. Now we come to a non-dharmic model. There are many non-dharmic models, so I've just put a few of them together under one rubric So, we don't have to have so many slides. Now here, typically your relationship with God, uh, it goes through a guru or some sort, right? A third party. So in this model, God sends his message to this guru here, and the guru passes the message to you. Now, I'm not sure whether this, in some religions, whether when you pray back to God, you have to go through the guru and then go to God, or whether you can pray directly to God. So you got to find those things out. And usually in these kind of religions where there is someone interceding between you and God, they will tell you that God has given some laws. These are called God's laws, and they cannot be changed. You cannot add to it. You cannot subtract. All right. And sometimes the places of worship also have got rules. You have got to give a certain amount of money to that place of worship and things like that. Right. So that is something you have got to find out as well. Now, but the main question is, when you're young, you may not have these questions to ask. But as you grow older, there will be some questions. The first thing is, why can't God talk directly to me like he spoke to Helen Keller? The second thing is, what is the objective proof that the guru existed? Now, the reason for this is because we know that kings sometimes create religions, right? They won't take a living guru. They will take a guru who died maybe 100 years ago, and then they will write back history about them. So you always find that on the face of it, when you look at these religions, it looks like there is very well recorded history and all that. But when you dig deeper, you will find that actually that history was recorded 100, 200, or even more years after the guru has supposedly died, right? And then, of course, that central question, what is the objective proof that God talked to that guru? Right? How do we even prove such a thing? And the fourth thing is, whatever this guru has said, where was it recorded? And do we have the original recording of it? Was it like written in a stone block, where until now we can see that original writing? Or, do they say that, oh, it is written in books and the books have gone missing and things like that? So you will find that even their scripture books, though the history, when you read it, it will say that, it came from, just during the time of the guru or something like that. But when you dig the history and then you see, you will find that even the scripture books, whatever is existing now, comes from about 100 or 200 years after the guru has died. Then the fifth thing is, um, what if certain laws given in God's laws are not applicable to modern times? See, we can't use the argument that, oh, during those times things were different and now. No, when you say God's law, it must apply for all times, right? So what happens when some of God's laws just simply cannot be used in a modern society? It's just not acceptable. Then the sixth thing is, what if you come across a situation that that there is no God's law for example, IVF or surrogacy or gene editing, right? Then what do? You can ask someone, another guru, to go and look at the laws and see whether it says yes or no. But it's not God's law anymore, right? Somebody else is creating a law for you, either yes or no. So now that you have got a general idea of how to go about approaching models for religious, for your relationship with God, so the next time you travel somewhere, you go somewhere, make sure that you look into their religion. Find out how they relate to God, how they pray, how they relate to the places of worship and things like that. Thank you very much for listening. I'll see you again with another video.